There is order among chaos. Indeed, from complexity is born a bounty of beauty. Consider, for example, the first 8 positive integers, and suppose we're coloring these integers red and blue. Each integer will receive one of the 2 colors. There is some considerable complexity here in that there are certainly many ways we could color the first 8 positive integers red and blue. Here is one such way. Something interesting about this coloring is there happens to be an arithmetic progression of 3 red integers. An arithmetic progression is a sequence of integers with a common difference. So we see here, from 1, we can go up 3 to get to 4, and up 3 again to get to 7. And these are all red integers. So we have this arithmetic progression of length 1, 2, 3, all of red integers. In fact, it just so happens that in this coloring, we also have a blue arithmetic progression of length 3, from 2 to 5 to 8. Note that the length is the number of numbers in the progression, 1, 2, 3. It just so happens that in this case, the common difference is also 3. But of course, there are so many ways we could have colored these 8 positive integers. So we may ask, is there a way we could have colored them to avoid having this order, to avoid having these 2 colored arithmetic progressions? You can pause the video and try it yourself. Let me show you how. If we color the first 8 positive integers red, red, blue, blue, red, red, blue, blue, then indeed we will avoid having any red or blue arithmetic progression of length 3. For example, from this red number, I can go forward 1 to get to another red number, but if I go forward another 1, I'm not going to get a red number giving me a 3-length arithmetic progression. I get a blue number instead. Similarly, if I start at this blue number, I could go forward 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to another blue number, but there's just not enough space to go forward another 4 to get a 3-length arithmetic progression. And you may think, that's kind of interesting, but 8 isn't that big. Is there possibly a sufficient amount of integers we could look at so that no matter how we colored them red and blue, we would always have either a red arithmetic progression of length 3 or a blue one? And the answer is yes. In fact, if we added an additional 317 integers, such an arithmetic progression would be forced. Although we could also just add 1 integer and that will work fine too. Indeed, look at this. If I start at 1, I can step forward 1, 2, 3, 4 to get another red number, and then if I go forward another 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I get to 9. So if we color this new number 9 red, we will for sure have a red arithmetic progression of length 3. So if I'm trying to avoid such an arithmetic progression, I want to color 9 blue. But then, of course, we see that we would have a blue arithmetic progression right there, 7, 8, 9. Now, of course, this is just one red-blue coloring of the first 9 integers. There are many other ways it could be done, but it is the case that there's no way that avoids a red arithmetic progression or a blue one. No matter how you color the first 9 positive integers, you're always going to have a red arithmetic progression or a blue one of length 3. As a result, we say the van der Waerden number, W of 2, 3, is equal to 9. This is the smallest number of positive integers, so that if we color it with this many colors, in this case 2, we're guaranteed to have an arithmetic progression of this many integers, in this case that's 3, which share a single color. Like we saw with 8 positive integers, it was possible to avoid such arithmetic progressions, but indeed with 9 of them, it is not possible. Then naturally, we would wonder in general, does the van der Waerden number W of Rk even exist for other values of R and K? Said differently, is it the case that if we take a big enough set of integers and we color them with R colors, that we're guaranteed to have an arithmetic progression of length K of a single color? The perhaps surprising answer is yes. The van der Waerden number W of Rk exists for all positive integer values of r and k, and that is called van der Waerden's theorem, which was proven by the Dutch mathematician in 1927. Here's how the theorem was originally worded. If the positive integers are partitioned into two classes, think two colors, then at least one of the classes, think one of the colors, must contain arbitrarily long arithmetic progressions. This doesn't mean that there could be an infinitely long arithmetic progression. It just means for an arithmetic progression of any length you like, you will be able to find such an arithmetic progression of a single color as long as you color sufficiently many integers, and the number of integers you might have to look at could indeed be quite large. Of course, for two colors, red and blue, and arithmetic progressions of length 3, we found that the number was not too big, it was just 9. But most of the Van Waerden numbers have thus proved elusive and are not so simple. These days, the theorem is more commonly stated like this, in a slightly more general way. For all positive integers, k and r, there exists an integer, w of rk, so that if the integers 1 through w of rk are partitioned into r classes, so this says we can partition into r classes, not just two, then at least one class contains a k-term arithmetic progression. Again, you can just think of the partitioning into r classes as coloring the integers with r colors. So both of these things are true, and I think it is a bit surprising. It's telling us if we color sufficiently many integers, we will be able to force a certain amount of order that just has to exist because of the size of the set and all the coloring that we've done. While most of the van der Waerden numbers are still unknown, there are some simple classes of them which we can easily figure out. Let's do an example. Consider the van der Waerden numbers of the form w of r2. So we're using r colors and we're looking for an arithmetic progression of length 2. An arithmetic progression of length 2 just means we're going to be looking for two numbers of the same color. So for example, if r was equal to 2, so we're using two colors and we're looking for an arithmetic progression of length 2, then in fact we only need 3 positive integers. If the first two integers are blue, then there's my blue arithmetic progression of length 2. If the first two integers are red, then similarly for red, so what if the first one is red and the second one is blue? Well then, the third number is either red or blue, say it's blue, and then there's my blue arithmetic progression of length 2. If it were red, then from 1 to 3, I would have a red arithmetic progression of length 2. Notice, since the number of colors being used was 2, all we needed was one more number than the number of colors. That way, two numbers were forced to share a color. So in general, we would need r plus 1 positive integers. If we're using r colors and we're coloring r plus 1 positive integers, at least two of them will have the same color, and from them, we get that arithmetic progression of length 2 with a similar color. So for example, if we were using 4 colors, we would need 5 integers to guarantee an arithmetic progression of length 2 with a common color. Now, the general proof of the theorem that the van der Waerden number for r colors and k-length arithmetic progressions always exists is pretty tricky, but we can get a taste for its flavor by doing a small example we're already familiar with. We're going to prove that the van der Waerden number w of 2, 3 exists without appealing to the examples we already looked at earlier. We already know that this is equal to 9, but let's use some logic to show that it has to exist. As I've said, it can take some massive integers to guarantee these arithmetic progressions, and in fact, the original proof established a bound for this van der Waerden number of 325. Of course, now we know that it's equal to 9, but it was at first bounded above by 325, and this is going to be the number we use for our argument. So then our claim is that if we color the first 325 positive integers with two colors, say red and blue, guaranteed we'll either have a red arithmetic progression of length 3 or a blue one. So if we've got 325 positive integers, we could separate them into bins that each contain sequences of 5 positive integers. So this first bin we would call B1 contains 5 positive integers, which I'm just going to represent as empty circles. That, of course, would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they've been colored in some way. The next bin, B2, would contain 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which have also been colored red and blue in some way. And this goes on. Since we're putting 325 integers into bins of size 5, the final bin would be bin 65, with the last 5 positive integers in our sequence. Now, if each bin contains 5 positive integers, how many different ways could we color the integers of a given bin? I'll give you a minute to think. Well, each bin has 5 integers, and we have 2 choices for color for each integer. So the total number of ways a given bin could be colored is 2 to the power of 5, 2 choices for each of the 5 integers, and this is 32. Then, since there are only 32 ways to color each bin, within the first 33 bins, there must be 2 bins that are colored the exact same way, because within the first 33 bins, they couldn't all have different colorings because there are only 32 different ways to color each bin. So then let's call those bins that have to exist, that have the same color, bin BI, and let's say bin BI plus J. So here's BI, and here's BI plus J. They each contain 5 integers that are colored the same way, and we know that both I and I plus j are less than or equal to 33. These 2 identically colored bins certainly exist within the first 33 bins. Now, as you can imagine, the arithmetic progression that we're going to show exists is going to happen from this bin to this bin, but then we're looking for length 3 progressions, so we're going to need a third bin as well, and that's actually going to be the bin bi plus 2j, which makes sense, right? You get bi, and then you add j to get to bi plus j, and then add j again to get to bi plus 2j. Now, you may wonder, how do we know that this bin even exists? What if I plus 2j is too big? Like, what if I plus 2j is greater than 65? There are only 65 bins, so how do we even know this is a thing? Well, what's the biggest j could be? Certainly the biggest j could be is if these 2 identically colored bins are maximally far apart, which would mean that bi is the first bin and bi plus j is the 33rd bin. If that were the case, then j is 32, because this would be b1, this would be b1 plus 32, so b33. If we add 32 to 33 to get to this next bin, ooh, that gets us exactly to 65. Okay, so that's as far as we could go. You can see why we've chosen the numbers that we have. They work out perfectly in even the worst case scenario. Now let's look at this bin BI. We only have 2 colors, red and blue. So certainly, among these first 3 integers in BI, at least 2 of them have to have the same color. Now, I'm going to actually commit to a coloring here instead of keeping things general, because I think it will be easier to understand. The logic that we're going to follow through could be applied no matter what the exact coloring is here in these first 3 integers. But certainly at least 2 of them have to be colored the same way. Let's say that those 2 are red and this one in the middle is blue. So then here we would have 2 red integers that are 2 apart. If this last integer in bi was also red, then we would have a red arithmetic progression of length 3, and we're done. So let's suppose it's not red, that way we still have stuff to prove, so that last integer in bi would be colored blue then. For our argument, the coloring of this 4th integer is not going to matter, so I'm going to leave it blank. Now remember, bi and bi plus j are specifically bins chosen because they're colored in the exact same way. So all the colors that we've put in bi, we can also put in bi plus j. And now we're pretty much done. For consider the last positive integer in the bin bi plus 2j, so this one here. If that last positive integer happens to be blue, then we have our blue arithmetic progression, going from this positive integer in bi to this one in bi plus j to this last blue one in bi plus 2j. Those are 3 blue positive integers with a common difference. that common difference between them being 5j, because they're j bins apart, and each bin contains 5 integers. The only other possibility is that this last positive integer is red, and in that case, we also have an arithmetic progression, going from this first red positive integer in bi to this second red positive integer in bi plus j to that last positive integer in bi plus 2j. In that case, those 3 red positive integers have a common difference of 5j plus 2. 5j because they're j bins apart and each bin contains 5 integers, and then plus 2 because we go to the bin and then forward 2. Go to the next bin and forward 2. There you go. So however this last positive integer is colored, let's just say it's red, we get an arithmetic progression of length 3 of a single color. So without any appeal to a specific coloring of 325 integers, we're able to prove in general that this will be sufficient. This proof doesn't establish that we need 325 integers. In fact, we know that's way bigger than we need, but this does prove that it is sufficient. And you might think, wow, that bound is huge. It's so big compared to 9, the number that we actually needed. But if you think that's crazy, just consider the van der Waerden number W of 3, so still arithmetic progressions of length 3, but now we have 3 colors. The original upper bound for this van der Waerden number was 7 times 2 times 3 to the power of 7 plus 1 multiplied by 2 times 3 to the power of 7 times 2 times 3 to the power of 7 plus 1 plus 1. And if you're wondering how big this upper bound is, it has over 14,000 digits. That's absolutely gargantuan. Now it turns out we actually know this one. We actually know this van der Waerden number. So the upper bound that was established was that, well, certainly this 14,000 digit long number is sufficient. What number was actually necessary? Turns out 27. And you also may be curious to know the current best upper bound for the van der Waerden numbers. The current best known upper bound for W of RK was proven by the Fields Medal recipient Timothy Gowers, and it's this: 2 to the power of 2 to the power of R to the power of 2 to the power of 2 to the power of K plus 9. So that's kind of funny, isn't it? If you get a kick out of this sort of thing, you'll want to check out what's called Ramsey theory. This is one of the fundamental results in the field of Ramsey theory, and I look forward to talking more about it. Well, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'm making such a mess. Subscribe for the swankiest math videos on the internet.
From my fate, twisting to escape this. Cutting out my wrist if you can break it. Breaking in my past, I'm making it up fast. So slow down, give me the time so I can fake it. Embrace the tune of words and just how I say shit. And let me speak my poetry to your face. It's not in the mid if you ain't listening. Not infinite if you ain't really in it.